everyone, and welcome to this year's annual Q&A for October Dwarfism Awareness Month. Really excited to get into this year's Q&A. I've had 13 questions come through, which is amazing, and they're all real different, real unique things I haven't really answered before online, and questions that I actually had to think about. So that's really cool. So thank you everyone who sent in questions. I really appreciate it, especially the ones that you're actually curious about, the ones that I had to think about what I was going to say, the ones that make me think more about my condition and how I'm living life with it. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Question number 1. What aspects of dwarfism have made you stronger than an average height person? Wow. There's two types of stronger here I guess I could talk about. There's physically stronger and mentally stronger. Physically I'm not very strong, and that is just to do with my condition and all that, but one thing that I have gotten really good at is using my arms. So I actually have, for me, really great arm strength. I've just over the years obviously had to climb up onto things, all that, so I've really used my arm muscles for that, and now I have some really great strength in there. I've bet many people in push-up competitions, so that's pretty cool. I mean, that's average height people, so you know, that makes me stronger than an average height person, maybe. Obviously, mentally, have to be stronger. Just like building up that resilience against negative people, or people who aren't even like trying to be mean, but they just don't understand what they're saying. So staring in streets, like asking stupid questions, like that sort of thing. You have to build up that resilience against those sort of people. So that does mean that mentally I consider myself quite strong, got like a tough wall, don't let much bother me now, especially after, 18 years. So yeah, that's a really great question. Yeah. Question number 2. What are observations you've made in life that maybe you wouldn't have actively noticed without dwarfism? I really like this question. It's more to do with what I've noticed being disabled, I would say. There's so many things that people without disabilities just wouldn't notice. In today's society, we tend to focus on like acceptance of race, sexual orientation, all that sort of thing. But one issue that's really played down is disabled rights, and I guess that's something I wouldn't have even thought about if I wasn't disabled myself. Like basic things, like people taking disabled car parks without having the right sticker on their car, or people using the disabled bathroom when everything else is full and then walking out and realizing, oh, there's someone in a wheelchair waiting to use this. Discrimination is a big one, like in employment. Like a lot of disabled people struggle to get employment because just the stereotype and the stigma around disabled people. Also, I would say that if I wasn't disabled myself, I feel like I would stare at people who are different from me a lot more. Obviously, I still do that, like it's normal, it's habit, you look at things that are different, but now I take more caution when doing it. Like I give them a smile and a wave or something like that, or I don't do it at all if I know that it might make them uncomfortable, because I get stared at on a daily basis, and so I know what that's like, and you can tell when it's a genuine interested stare versus when it's a mean discriminatory stare. Like you can tell that difference. So that's something I wouldn't have really noticed if I wasn't disabled myself. I would have been like many people, just stare at something that's different, and like that's not a bad thing if you're doing it respectfully, I guess, but I still wouldn't encourage it, if that makes sense. Question number 3. What common stereotypes about dwarfism do you want to knock down? I had to think about this question. I couldn't really think of necessarily stereotypes, and once again, there's the thing that disabled people are so, like, played down, like it's not a big thing, that there are no real stereotypes for them. Especially uncommon ones such as dwarfism. Like, I just couldn't, maybe I'm wrong, LP friends, if you have stereotypes you can think of, like, put them below. I'm okay with that. I would be interested in hearing what you think. However, I did want to talk about dwarves not being used or looked at as a form of entertainment. So in the past year, I've been the media liaison for the organisation Little People of New Zealand, and it's really opened my eyes to how many people view little people as a form of entertainment. Like, not just people who request things from us, but like just looking on social media. Earlier this year, or actually not even long ago, Britain had to ban dwarf wrestling, I guess, and then also not long ago it came out about I'm pretty sure it was Green Party, I may be wrong, MP who previously owned a bar where the thing they were most known for was dwarf curling. Like, everyone comments on that stuff and goes, oh, but if it was consensual, it's fine, and it's not even that. Like, it's just that people go there expecting it, and like, it's not just a fun game between friends or something, it's like an actual thing that people go to watch. And little people being strippers, like that sort of thing, like if that's their passion and their career or whatever, they want to do that, that's fine, I have no problem with it. But when I'm getting emails or calls or people going, hey, can we hire a little person, like, you know, we're not a stripper organisation, we're an organisation to support little people, not, you know, sell them out. So I guess that would be one thing I want to knock down, is like, little people aren't there for your entertainment. And I guess it stems from being portrayed that way through media, because think about it, we're the Oompa Loompas, we're the hobbits, like, you know what I mean, like the goblins in Harry Potter, like that sort of thing. Like, it all stems from that, I guess. And yeah, it's quite a strong topic, but yeah, it's something I'm passionate about, and I think really need to knock down those I wouldn't really call them stereotypes, but yeah. Question number 4. Are there any upsides to being a little person that people don't often consider? If I get asked this question, like, jokingly, like, oh, what's the best thing about being a little person or something, I always respond with hide and seek, just purely for a laugh. Like, hide and seek, really good at that, can hide in the real tight, small places, so that's normally my go-to answer. But, like, underneath that really is, as I mentioned before, the building up of resilience. I'm a much more resilient person because of who I am and how I've grown up and what I've had to deal with through being a little person. I wouldn't know half the amazing people I do today if it wasn't for being a little person. Like, I've met so many people through our amazing organisation, Little People in New Zealand, that I consider like my best friends now. Like, they are amazing people. Also, I'd say this kind of links back to the question I was talking about before, but just the observations you make about disabilities in general or dwarfism when you're immersed in that side of things, like the steering and the car parks and the toilets. Like, I wouldn't have noticed all that stuff if I wasn't disabled myself. So I wouldn't be as passionate to advocate for disabled rights, you know? So, yeah. I'd say they're all quite good upsides to being a little person. Number 5. What is the most genuine but funny or stupid question you've had from a stranger due to their non-understanding of your stature? I actually didn't really know what to respond to this. I feel like this is really bad, but if people ask me questions, or strangers ask me questions that relate to my height, I actually get kind of shy and uncomfortable, and I just go, oh yeah, and kind of like keep walking. So I actually asked my parents what they thought, and they couldn't really think of any either. They said their thing was, once they were in a restaurant, I don't know how old I was, but they were in a restaurant and there were a group of people and they were all saying how cute I was. Apparently they may have been slightly drunk, and one lady was like, oh, like, a poor thing, like feeling really sorry for me, which isn't unusual. Like a lot of people go, oh, poor thing. I've had people like pray for me, like all that sort of thing. That's happened. Like they just don't genuinely know like what is wrong with me. Like they just see a disabled person or whatever. So I guess that's kind of not funny or stupid, but like they just don't know that my disability doesn't actually stop me. Also, another one that is actually quite funny is on a lot of medical forms. If you're talking about your disability, they say, is your disability likely to change? And I always just find that so funny when I'm filling that out, because I'm like, well, no, I'm not going to grow in like 2 years and be like the same height as everyone else. Like, that'd be cool. No, it wouldn't. But yeah, that's not going to happen. Or like, have you always been, or have you always had this disability? No, like, no, I was average and now shrunk. Like, oh, I hate when that happens. But yeah, just that kind of funny, I guess. Question number 6. If you could design a piece of equipment that would help with your everyday living, what would it be? I really didn't know. I'm not inventive at all. I really like seeing on Facebook the new, I don't know if anyone's seen them, but they're like steps that you just pull out of the kitchen, then fold them down. Like they're part of the cabinetry, I guess, and then you pull them out, fold them down. Needed one of those. But otherwise, I was going to try and be inventive. Like maybe a remote control floor, if that makes sense. Like, I could press a button and the floor would like raise up, and then I could put it back down for those average height people or whatever. That'd be cool, I guess. I don't really know. I'm not inventive. Number 7. What's the hardest thing about living with dwarfism? Okay, so this one is kind of sad because it's all the negatives, which I don't really like talking about the negatives, but it's a question someone asked, so I'm going to respond. I'd say if I was going to talk about my top 3, they would be the constant pain I have due to like surgeries or anything like that, and just in my hips and stuff like that. Because of all my surgeries, my hip problems mainly, but I get pain in my back, my knees, my ankles, my hips, everywhere really, all the time, so that's not fun, but that's just something that I've learnt to live with, and yeah, I'd say it's quite hard. Otherwise, it'd be just like things like keeping up with my friends. Obviously there's things I just can't do. I walk slower, which is a start, like they'll be like 2 minutes ahead, I'll be like, I'm coming. Or like just some activities that they might be like, oh yeah, let's go for a run, or let's go to Adrenaline Forest, or let's do this, you know, and I'm like, oh, I'll have to sit with this one out, guys, sorry. So I mean, that's quite hard, but you get used to it. Obviously, I guess people expect me to talk about like this constant, the staring, or the bullying, or all that, and like, that is hard, but I've kind of built up this like wall that it doesn't affect me anymore. Not that I have faced much bullying, a little bit, not like a huge amount, or not because of my size anyway. And like the staring is hard. One thing I really hate is the people who think it's okay to take photos or videos of me in the supermarket. Like, that's just so weird. Like, I wouldn't do that, you know, and I just don't get why other people think they should or would or whatever. But yeah, they're all quite like the hard things that I could think of. Question number 8. With your dwarfism, you've had many surgeries. What was the hardest to bounce back from? Wow, this question's easy to answer. In August 2016, I had my second bilateral hip osteotomy. I'd already had one in 2010, which was really good, recovered, like it made a huge difference to my hips. But unfortunately, because my bones are still cartilage and not actual bone, it just came undone real easy. And started causing me more pain, couldn't walk properly, that sort of thing, so I had to have it done again. There was a risk going into the surgery that because it had already been done once, it might not hold as well, but there was just no other option. So I went forward with the surgery, and the surgery itself went really well. They were happy with it. Unfortunately, I just wasn't recovering how I had the first time. I was doing physio, intense physio, like 3 times a week, nearly to the point where I had to go every day, and just wasn't. I should have been out of a wheelchair in 6 weeks and walking within another 6. That's not what happened. I did kind of get out of my wheelchair, but not really, like couldn't do much. I was using a walker barely around home, like couldn't really hold myself up. It was just really bad, and obviously that made me feel bad, like am I not doing enough, or what's wrong, like what's happening, like this should be real easy. The physio wasn't helping, nothing was helping. It was just something that was going to have to come with time. Unfortunately, in January 2017, I was set to depart to France for an exchange, and of course I was like, 12 weeks after August, I'll be sweet, I'll be ready to go. I wasn't. I ended up going over to France in a wheelchair with crutches, doing the bare minimum walking on crutches, and then using a wheelchair for long distance. Obviously that's not what I had in mind when experiencing France for the first time, and it wasn't what my host family had in mind either. Like, that just didn't work out. I mean, there were other factors that factored into why I moved from the first family, but that was definitely one of them. It was just so hard having to be there on crutches in a wheelchair. Like, it just wasn't the experience I was hoping for. Luckily, the second family I was with were really accommodating. I started to get more strength. I was walking around the house, barely using my wheelchair, using crutches for school, and so that was really good. They were really supportive. Obviously, some of these pictures you can see I'm definitely in a wheelchair or in crutches. Actually, you can't really, but oh, there you go. Wheelchair, it just had to happen, and had to get over it and make the most out of the exchange, which is what I did, and didn't let that stop me. Now, I'm still recovering from that surgery, and that's what, 2 years ago? 2 years I had that surgery. It just didn't work how we expected, which is a bit of a shame, and means that I now have to go forward and have a double hip replacement in the near future. Just want to hold off as long as possible, but I'm walking without crutches or anything at the moment, so until that ends up being too painful, then I'll just stay like this. Sorry, that's a bit long, but yeah. Question number 9. Have you ever strongly wished you weren't gifted with dwarfism? I really like that, gifted with dwarfism, because it was a gift. But yes, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I have. Not for long. Like, it'll just be moments of, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some examples of, like, maybe my friends going out and I couldn't go because I was stuck in a wheelchair, or maybe, I don't know, I'm trying to think, maybe when I went to France, like, not being able to do some of the stuff I wanted to do, like, that sort of thing. I go, oh, I just wish that I was average height and it'll be over. Learning to drive is another one that's been really hard. Just wishing that I could just be an average height person, learn to drive like anyone else, not have to go through this long process of being 18 and not having my restricted. But yeah, so there are moments where I'm like, oh my god, just wish I was average height, but they definitely do not last. Like, I wouldn't be who I am today without having been a little person, so that's good. Number 10, running out of fingers. What do you know scientifically about your type of dwarfism? So this question came from one of my friends who is a med student, so I had to do some research to answer her question. However, this is what I've come up with. So my condition is SEMD, or spondyloepimetaphyseal dysplasia congenita. Originally, at birth, I was diagnosed with spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia congenita, which is SEDC. But about 5 years ago, I had the official genetic testing and found out I was SEMD. Barely any difference, wouldn't go into details. It's caused by a spontaneous mutation in the COL2A1 gene, and and it's linked to chromosome 12q13. That's the max of my scientific knowledge right there. And the chances of two average height parents having a child with spondyloepimetaphyseal dysplasia congenita is 1 in a million. Cue Hannah Montana song, 1 in a million. So that's pretty cool. To give you some idea, 1 in 200,000 are born with spondyloepimetaphyseal dysplasia congenita. So that means that 1 in 5 born with that will turn out to actually be the 1 in a million born with spondyloepimetaphyseal dysplasia congenita. Wow, that's confusing. And 1 in 40,000 born to average height parent will have achondrodysplasia, which is the most common type of dwarfism that you'll see. Yeah, sorry, that's the extent of my scientific knowledge. Ask Google if you need some more info. Or any other little people that actually do have the scientific knowledge. Drop it down below for my friend. Should appreciate it. Number 11. Will your kids be little people? This is kind of scientific, and I can answer this one. It all depends on who I have kids with. So, let's start from the start. If I have a child with a average height person, it will be a 50-50 chance. 50% chance they'll be a little person, 50% chance they'll be an average height person. If I was to have a child with another little person of any type of dwarfism, it would be 25% chance that it would be an average height person, which does happen. 25% chance that unfortunately the baby would get both the dwarfism gene, and that is fatal. Like, they either won't survive in the womb, or they won't survive long after birth, which is really unfortunate. I've been asked if that makes me want to put off having kids with a little person, but I wouldn't say that, because I'm going to have kids who I'm going to have kids with, and that's just a risk I have to take. But the other 50% would be having a little person child. So, yeah. Number 12. What does dwarfism mean to you? So, I linked a video a couple of weeks back that was from all my friends who were up at our annual Little People of New Zealand conference in Auckland. And our awesome Vice President, Ebony Kepper, she created a video of a lot of our members saying what dwarfism meant to you. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend conference this year, but one of the little people who did asked me this question, so I can join in. For me, dwarfism is who I am. It means building resilience, it means being unique, it means being different, it means being me. It's like, I'm short, but I'm so much more than that. Yeah, I don't know, that's actually really hard now that I think about it. It's who I am. Like, I can't change that, and I wouldn't want to. So that's what dwarfism means to me. It also means, like, this big community that I'm a part of, all those members of LPNZ. They're all so inspiring, and I love them all. They're all amazing. Last question, number 13, is actually a really interesting question. It is, will you write a book? Wow. This question is obviously aimed at, would I write a book about me, about my life, about my experiences, and I have to say that I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't consider it. Maybe later on in life, once I've had more experiences, maybe once I've had my own kids, that sort of thing. It'd be cool to write a book and share my experiences. Require a lot of patience and a lot of time, so I'd have to see where I am in life, what I'm doing, what I want to do. But yeah, I would definitely consider it. It'd be a really cool opportunity to be able to do that. That's all the questions that I've been asked through Facebook or Instagram. So thank you everyone so much for those questions. I just wanted to add in a little bit of info about what's next for me. So in 4 days, I graduate from high school, which is a really weird feeling. Hasn't quite sunk in yet, even though it's in 4 days. Feeling excited, sad, nostalgic, all of those things. But mainly really excited. So, yeah. Next for me, I'm actually going down to Canterbury University next year. I want to study a BA in English and minoring in French, and eventually in my fourth year, I want to do a postgrad study to become a secondary English or French teacher, which I'm really excited about. That's been my dream for a long time. Originally, I wanted to be a primary school teacher, but I recently decided to switch that to secondary school teaching, mainly because of I just think it's better for me to focus on things I'm passionate about than having a wide range of subjects where I might not be passionate about all of them. And I've had two amazing, inspiring teachers, my French teacher, Miss Connolly, and my English teacher, Miss Titter, who have both really opened up my eyes to what they do, their passion, and just really made me want to go forward with that. So I'm really excited for next year, getting away from home, living out some experiences, and yeah. So thank you to everyone who contributed questions this year. I really appreciate it. I'm not only around to answer questions once a year, so anytime you have a question or a concern or a worry or anything, please just let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer for you. Also, while I'm here, you should definitely head over to the Facebook like page for Little People of New Zealand. We post lots of inspiring videos, facts, fun things our members are up to, and it's just a really cool page for people who aren't little people or are, but just want to be involved somehow or keep up to date or whatever. So go over and like that page. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll send you an invite to like it. And yeah, everyone, thank you for being so amazing this October. It's been a really great, successful Dwarfism Awareness Month. Thanks to all the people who wore green last Thursday for Dwarfism International World Dwarfism Day, which was really cool. Loved seeing my friends supporting me in green, so that's really awesome. Everyone, have a good day, enjoy, keep in touch. Thank you.